So we have the opportunity to serve. So when we engaged in that service, then we can forget all these good and bad things happening, all these dualities happening to us day by day is only increasing. It never decreases. Because we are busy in doing different things, we can ignore all these pain and pleasures of this material world. This pain and pleasure happens because of we are consciousness. We are not stone. For stone, there is no pain and pleasure, or humiliations, or softness, or hardness. They don't feel any of these things. Only conscious beings can actually feel. If you throw a stone at a dog, the dog will cry and go, kee, 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 kee. It will just run. So they have pain because of the consciousness. So this consciousness goes up to the tip of our hair. If somebody actually pull you off your tip of the hair, you immediately would know. So the soul consciousness is actually something together. Soul is consciousness, consciousness is soul. But sometimes the medical science, when some people go for surgical operation, they suspend the person's consciousness. So when they suspend the person's consciousness by some chemicals, right? Some chloroform or something, then the person, though consciousness is completely withdrawn to the soul, right? The soul is still there, and people operate the body whatever the problem is. So you do not feel the pain and pleasure that time. Generally is only pain. There is no pleasure in surgeries. So consciousness can be withdrawn mechanically and medically also to the soul, and person will not be conscious about it. Why? Because the consciousness hasn't spread all over the body. It is suspended to the soul. So we can see that when there is no soul, you don't feel pain and pleasure, or when there is no consciousness. Similarly, the entire universe is Krishna's body. It's called universal form, universal body, because the Lord is actually there in the universe. Therefore, you are having all these seasonal changes. Spring, right? Autumn, summer, winter, pre-winter. All these seasons are actually changing. According to the seasonal changes, different fruits in different countries, different places manifest. Water, fruits, sunrise, sunsets, moonrise, moonsets. All these things are actually happening because there is a supreme conscious person. That consciousness spreads in all the living entities. Our consciousness goes till the tip of the hair, but Krishna's consciousness goes all over the universe, inside and outside. Andatarastha paramanu chayandarastam govindam adipurusham tamam bhajami. He enters into this universe even inside the atoms. So he understands if the atom has life, which is not, Krishna still can understand. In the daytime or night time, there are electric bulbs in your house turned on. If there is moonlight, the moonlight also enters. The daytime sunlight, you still turn on some electric lights. There are two lights now. One is sunlight, the other one is your electrical light. But you can understand the sunlight is far away. If anything happens to this room, the electric bulb may goes off, but the sunshine will be still there. Similarly, the super soul is always there in everyone's body, and he understands every thinking, every manipulation, every tricks, every cheating tendency, every goodwill, everything he knows. And he understands, and he manifests according to the time, place, circumstances. whether it's withdraw their power or give them a heart attack and kill them, or give them blessings to carry on with their wonderful thoughts or the actions they thought in their mind. There is blessings. So all these things the universal form can actually do, the super soul. That super soul enters into everyone's body. Kshetragnam chabi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. I am also knower of the body, Arjun, but I know all bodies. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So this is the consciousness. The consciousness means the light coming from the sun is called light energy, right? But the origin is the sun. Similarly, the consciousness is coming from the soul, and super consciousness is coming from God. No one can manifest the super consciousness. Our consciousness is limited within our body. It cannot go outside of the body and understand what that person is thinking, what is his misery, what is his grief, what is his enjoyment. We have no experience. Somebody eats and he knows how taste is the food, right? So similarly, every pleasure and pain other person experience, only that person knows. Why? Because we are not super conscious. Krishna can actually experience that because he is the super conscious. But though he experienced that, it does not affect him, because the individual's suffering, God also knows. Just like a child suffers, mother knows how the suffering is. Immediately tell the daddy, I cannot actually see my son's or daughter's pain. You want to take him to the hospital and recuperate him, and different things we may actually do. So in that way we understand, but exactly we would not know how much degree of suffering they are undergoing. That is not given to us because we are not super conscious. So the pain and pleasure, happiness and misery, insult and praises, all these things are actually there. But one who goes above all these material situations and do not care for all these sufferings or enjoyments, that person is called Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi means I am the spirit soul, not the body. So we should come to that platform. This is what Krishna is saying. Yamhina Vyadiyandide Purusham Purusharshava Samadukka Sugam Dhiram So Amrudatvaya Kalpade. A person who do not care for all these things, just ignore and go on with their service attitude or serving in the consciousness of God, the public, or whatever you are doing, and you don't care for all these dualities of this material world, that person deserves the eternal liberation, the entrance into the spiritual kingdom, in the kingdom of God, and you can be one of the members of the Lord. Exactly like you have a prime minister and president here, right? It's not that you are all prime minister and president. You are also servant here. So there, the president of the kingdom of God is God himself. So therefore, whether you want to live here and suffer the four things, death, birth, old age, and disease. Very scary. Old age and disease. Disease comes, we immediately get the warning. Death is coming. Though we may not die because our age is young, but there is no guarantee. Anytime we can vacate from this place. So these four things are the major problem. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, Dukkha, Doshanu, Darshanam. So because of these four things, we always contemplate. Sometimes when we go to a house where there was a death occurred, so you think this is what life is. This guy is so famous, so much money, so much power, boom, within 1 second he's gone. So sometimes we get that vairagya, just a momentary vairagya. But when we go home, maybe a day, according to the attachment with that person, we may have 1 or 2 days. Sometimes the social obligations, we don't even care. We just go and still chit chat our social issues and problems in the house of the dead. We are doing all these things because we are thinking, sir, I am not going to die. So this is what Krishna is telling here. That is good, but should not be a ignorant person. The renunciation with knowledge, renunciation without knowledge, it has two different results. So these kinds of renunciation, that is just product of ignorance. But if we understand the soul's existence and you come out of this duality, then you are qualified to enter into the kingdom of God. So I'll stop here. We'll continue tomorrow. So the other part was I recorded, but the battery went off. So I continued in this piece. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.